Good day, everyone. Welcome to Agility Academy's weekly Agile Leadership Learning Series. Those who have attended our session, you must be familiar that every Tuesday, same time, we talk on various Agile leadership topics. Today, we got Roger. Hi, Roger.
Hi there, Sandeep.
Good to have you here. So, Roger and I, we are going to talk about this interesting topic called as how to successfully lead multiple Agile teams. If you are joining us on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to say hi, mention your location. And throughout this session, if you have got any questions related to how to lead Agile teams in a complex environment, feel free to ask those questions. We'll do our best to answer those now. Even if you are going to watch this as a recorded session, again, it doesn't harm to say hi and mention your location. It's always encouraging to know that there are a lot of people who are benefiting from this. So let's get started. In today's world, when you talk about leadership or when you talk about agile, there are some misconceptions. So in this session we are going to understand what is agile leadership, what is expected when you are working in the complex environment as a leader, what are your end goals at the end of day. As most of you might be aware, there's a difference between manager and leader. Leader is like a parent, leader is like a teacher who is invested deeply in your success. So we're going to find out, as an agile leader, what are your end goals. Then we are going to explore what might be your focus areas. So depending on the environment in which you are working, there are different areas where you need to focus on. So we are going to find that. In second phase, we are going to start exploring what challenges are typically faced by any agile leader and what kind of mistakes or three mistakes which are done by agile leaders and how you can avoid those. Towards the end, we are going to share a few practical tips. So stay tuned and feel free to ask any questions as we go through this. So what is agile leader or what is agile leadership? So when you talk about agile leadership, first thing which comes to anyone's mind is growth mindset. Someone who is there to support you, someone who is there to help you navigate through uncertainties, ambiguities, and take you to the next level. Now, when you talk about agile leader or leadership style, there are three things which are crucial. First one, why we do what we do. So, as a leader, it's your responsibility to help everyone understand what are the core principles on basis of which we need to make any decision. So, it might be something like delighting our customers or creating an awesome team. At the end of the day, if you have got disgruntled employees or team members, you can't have delighted customers. What need to be done when it comes to defining how you are going to deliver value to your customer quickly. So these are the principles which define agile leadership, why we do what we do. Then there are promises. So promises are things which help you to understand how we'll work together as a group, as a team. And these promises are not only made to your customers, but these promises are made by agile leader to their colleagues, team members. And few of those which have been highlighted in a recent State of Agile report as one of the key driver or key essential factor to make any agile transformation successful is psychological safety. So whenever you are working, whenever you are leading any group, you need to ensure that people are feeling comfortable to share their diverse views. They are there to challenge each other and come up with the different perspectives. So these are the promises which are expected to be made by agile leader and then uphold through by walking the talk. Uh, and when it comes to providing some guidelines, at the end of the day, people want some direction. People want someone who can help them see things which they are not able to see, and that's where these guidelines come in picture. So what makes us effective? Are we validating our learnings? Are we understanding? Are we talking with the right kind of people? Are we listening to our customers? Are we listening to our staff members? Are we creating an environment where people want to come and join? Recently, I was talking with one of my friend, and we were discussing about NPS score, Net Promoter Score, right? Something which is used to understand how much customer loyalty you have got. And this thought came to our mind that how about leadership promoter score? So if tomorrow someone who is reporting to Roger decide to leave that organization because that person is going to travel to some other continent, how likely that person is going to again come back and work with Roger? How likely that person is going to recommend Roger as a manager or leader? So that is a net promoter score similar to customer assessment, you can have something called as a leadership promoter score. So it's all about what people talk about you behind your back. Are they are they not just trying to please you? Because there's a saying that boss is always right. But in the leadership world, anyone can be leader, and then you truly trust that person to take care of your interest and help you in your journey. Roger, have you come across any good agile leader in your career? And what was the key ingredient?
Look, I've seen a couple of good ones, but also a couple that are not so good. The key characteristics of a good leader is someone who listens, who puts themselves in the place of the other, and considers different points of view. A good agile leader will take everything into account, look at the context, look at the different points of view, the different constraints and dependencies.
Absolutely. So thanks, Roger. So those who have joined recently, we are talking about how to successfully lead multiple agile teams. If you have joined us on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, say hi, mention your location, and feel free to ask any questions related to the topic. I can see we have got many people who have joined recently. Sarita is saying hi. Hi, Sarita. Feel free to ask any question. So focus area when it comes to agile leadership. So when we talk about agile leadership, it is quite broad, and you need to, or some many times you start by leading individuals, and that goes up to leading organization or enterprise. So as an agile leader, your focus area might be just on one team, acting as a agile team coach, team leader, agile project manager, scrum master. Title might be anything. So it might be, helping that one team. It can be something like leading multiple agile teams, more than two or three, or it can be something like leading agile portfolio or program, big program of work. And at topmost, the expectation of agile leadership is to lead entire organization. So if you ask me, if you want to become an agile leader, and what is the topmost position you can play, I will say CEO. So executives, chief executives, officers, head ops, technology leads, irrespective of your job title, you can be still agile leader. But quite often people see that when it comes to transitioning into agile leadership role, those who are working in individual capacity, they move into scrum master, agile project manager, agile product manager sort of roles. But there's a wider scope of work which needs to be considered when it comes to acting as an agile leader.
When we're looking at agile leadership goals, we've always got to be aware that agile leadership is really a state of mind. It's more about how you think and then how you act, rather than any particular job description. And key to that is about self-learning. And everybody in an agile organization should be looking to learn more, look at improving themselves and helping their team improve, their colleagues across teams. And also building towards a self-organizing team structure, which means that they don't need someone there to tell them what to do. They understand the context, they discuss amongst themselves, they bring in extra help as needed in order to achieve those outcomes. So they're the sort of leadership goals that we're trying to instill in ourselves and in others, in order to have teams that will operate in a self-organizing manner to produce outcomes. And the agile leader then becomes more of a facilitator or a catalyst, rather than a manager directing people.
Spot on. The big simple example which comes to my mind is, if you are a young parent, you got young kids, then you expect your kids to be self-reliant, self-improving, self-organized, self-learning. Typically, when they are going through teenage phase, same principle applies. If you are starting a new business, for example, you are a startup owner, entrepreneur. Uh, at the start of the journey, it might be more hand holding, giving direction, asking your employees to do exactly what is required. But over a period of time, what you expect is empowerment of your team members and your staff. And through that, you expect a culture in which people are driven to improve, people are driven to learn, and then self-organize rather than just relying on one particular individual. So that's the ultimate goal of agile leadership. I can see that few people have joined from UK. Hi, Kelly. We have got Ajay as well. So Kelly has got question, Roger. How do
Yep.
one successfully lead multiple teams in a waterfall environment? What are the techniques of leading them successfully in a
As I
waterfall
said,
environment?
yep. As I said, agile leadership is a state of mind, and you can apply it to whatever methodology or sort of process that you follow.
Yeah,
The key to leading multiple teams is not having to be a dependent piece of the of the system and being able to have to direct everybody, but by building the teams to be able to be self-capable, so they don't need a lot of input. Yes, if they get blocked and they need assistance, then that's where an agile leader can help and assist, bring in the right resources to resolve the problem.
yeah,
But to manage multiple teams, you need to lift yourself out of those teams a bit. The only way to do that successfully is to make sure that those teams are capable of operating and achieving the outcomes without somebody sitting there every minute of the day sort of directing things. So that's old school sort of micromanagement. Agile leadership um, is a different process. It lifts you up out of that and enables wonderful outcomes.
absolutely. So when we talk about agile leadership, it has nothing to do with agile frameworks. It's more about mindset, which is underpinned by principles which we have seen earlier, where we believe in delighting customers, creating an awesome team, where context counts, and it's based on the certain guidelines as well as promises of creating inclusive environment where people are ready to share, people are ready to take ownership of things. And in addition to that, Callie and others, we are going to share a few practical tips in this session, as well as something interesting about Agility Academy's program, which has proven to help a lot of emerging and existing agile leaders to start leading multiple agile teams. So stay tuned. I can see that few people have joined from Nigeria as well. Good day, everyone. If you are watching it on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, feel free to say hi, mention your location, ask any question related to this topic. And if you are on YouTube, please like our video, subscribe to our channel so that you can watch recording of this as well as past videos in future. So let's dig deeper and find out about agile leadership. So challenges. Remember, and in my last 22 years of career, whenever I have started engagement with any team in any organization, it is like starting from scratch. Uh, as an agile senior agile coach, I have worked as a agile delivery manager, scrum master, and chief scrum master or chief release train engineer, agile consultant, so on and so forth. But irrespective of those titles, whenever you are embarking your journey as an agile leader, there are four areas where you might encounter a lot of challenges. Or rather than challenges, I'll say that those are opportunities for you to contribute. So first one is people. Remember, when we talk about agile leadership, it's all about serving people. It's a servant leadership style. So you need to understand who are key stakeholders, who are those people for whom you have been hired, what kind of problems they are facing, what kind of challenges they are facing, and how you can take them in this journey rather than imposing some changes. Process. Now, when you talk about agile leadership, it's all about bringing in agility. Agility means ability to move quickly at a very, very effective way in a less time. So, when you act as an agile leader, when you are engaged as an agile leader for any assignment, you need to look at the current processes and find out where are the opportunity to reduce waste, which processes are actually not helping team to work together, collaborate, and then deliver that value quickly. So understanding current process and coming up with some opportunity to improve that process, that is another challenge which is typically faced by agile leaders. Third one is product. So you need to, if you're an agile leader, you need to understand what is your currency of delivery. Are we satisfying our customer needs through product, through service, or through solution? And what is it? Who is our customer? And how we can delight them by delivering that increment of value in terms of products, solution, service as soon as possible, incrementally. And the last one is technology. I haven't seen any agile leader who is not comfortable with technology. In fact, in today's world, uh, this particular era is defined as a digital age, and every year you see something disruptive happening. Recent fad is Chat GPT. Before that, no one has imagined that there will be company who doesn't own billion of dollars of properties, who can come and then disrupt the well established enterprises like Marriott and other big hotel chain by offering service where someone can go and stay in someone's apartment. That is Airbnb. No one has imagined that company who doesn't own fleet of cars can come and disrupt well-established automobile industries like Uber, who is challenging different taxi unions by offering their services. So all those companies are driven by technology. Now, when you come and start supporting team as an agile leader, you need to understand what technology is used, how that can be leveraged in order to support teams, support groups to move faster and deliver those outcomes. So these are the areas wherein quite often you need to dwell in detail before you start your journey. Um, I will say that if you want to embark on any journey as an agile leader in existing team or new team, you should avoid these three mistakes. Roger, have you got any interesting story to share about this?
So these are three typical mistakes that people think is the answer, especially when they're managing teams. If they're, I like to say, old school, fairly immutable, they come in with one style and they look at it and say, my my process or the existing process is the one that works. It's always worked, so we never change. So one size fits all. That's an old school mantra, and all of those organizations that Sandeep's talked about has disrupted those thought patterns. One size doesn't fit all, never fits all. And even in a team or a group of teams over a period of time, you'll find that you need to adapt as time goes on. When people then look at processes and say the process is the answer to everything, what it does is it takes out the creativity of the people. It stops people adapting. It stops people improving. And there's a lot of lessons out of manufacturing in Toyota where they empowered people to improve the process, and they found the managers were making a lot of inefficient decisions because the people on the floor who could see where activities could be improved, they were empowered to make those changes and became a lot more efficient. So process over people is a mistake. People, their creativity, having an agile mindset is the best way to be able to adapt to the circumstances. The circumstances today are not necessarily the circumstances of tomorrow. And if we look at the context, another mistake that people make is ignoring the context. So do you make the same road for a local suburban road as you do for a freeway or a Formula One track? The context is super important. And if people ignore the context, they'll have the wrong solution. So now we're going to have a look at some practical tips about how we can avoid some of these problems. So with people, practical tip number one is about gaining the trust of the people and the people in the teams. If we don't work in a trustful relationship in our workplace, in our teams, then everybody is guarded. Nobody is willing to take a risk. So we need to explore the current challenges, but with an open view that we will make mistakes, and those experiments are fine as long as we learn from them. We need to look for improvement opportunities. Now, every improvement opportunity that we explore may not result in a good outcome, but we learn from it, and hence the learning outcome is beneficial to what we're doing in the teams. And we can have some fun along the way too. I've seen some amazing experiences where people do experiments and they do it in a fun way. So it's not just boring old work where you have to do what the manager says. You empower people to be able to enjoy their work, try different things, get great improvements, and succeed. And if you succeed 70% of the time because you're trying 100% of different improvement opportunities, different experiments, that's 70% of the time more that you've succeeded than if you don't try at all.
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yeah, this reminds me my engagement with one of the client where I acted as a business agility coach. So there was a vice president who was looking at Asia Pacific region, and one of the big challenge which he was facing was having team which is spread based on geographical location. So there was team based in Singapore and Indonesia, and then there was a team based in Australia and New Zealand. And because of time zone difference, cultural difference, this leader has says that that's the biggest challenge to tackle. So imagine if you go in such situations by saying that, hey, we need to follow Scrum, or we need to have a daily stand up, or we need to do X or Y. That's not going to address the issue which is faced by the leader. So, as Roger has mentioned, if you want to gain trust, you need to understand what are the pain points faced by your client or faced by your team leaders, and then help to address those pain points. That is the easiest way to gain confidence. So it's like I'm hungry, I want food, and someone comes and gives me, branded clothes. That doesn't help, right? I don't want, branded clothes. Probably I'm hungry, I need food. Exactly same thing is applied when it comes to acting as an agile leader, agile consultant, and serving your team as well as group. You need to gain trust by speaking in their language and helping them address those challenges, problems they are facing at that point in time.
You also have to understand the capacity and the competencies of the people that are in the teams. It's no good asking a team of developers to design a car. So you have to make sure that the people have the right group of skills in order to be able to work together to come up with a solution. And where there is opportunity to learn and to grow, then there might be identified skill gaps where you can encourage learning in those areas to build those skills in the team. You might identify improvements that you're not ready to look at yet, and you can track those. You can keep a board where you can list your improvements, you can track your improvements, you can look at the success, and open communication between members of the teams and between teams also builds trust. You show people what you're doing, you explain it, you answer questions, and people will share their experience with you as well. So it's a building, learning, growing environment. Sometimes people are just too scared to say, oh, we can't say where we're at the moment because it won't look too good. You're at where you're at, and you need to declare that. If you're behind where people think you should be, then share that. Maybe people will give you some hints. Maybe they'll say, you know what, you're spending a lot of time on this less than important activity, whereas what we really want is these top 5 activities delivered. And just by that little conversation, you can adapt and grow. So with trust, you can get good communication, you get good planning, you can get good improvement, and that will really, really see your teams grow. And as a leader, they will trust you. They will bring problems to you instead of hiding them. They'll ask for your advice, and they'll also tell you when they don't agree with you. But that's fine. That's part of the open communication.
That's quite interesting insight. And I remember while working in one of the leading bank as an Agility Academy consultant, we had a leader. Whenever that person used to step in a meeting room, there was a pin drop silence. No one used to share anything. So you can sense lack of trust, lack of psychological safety. And then there was another leader who used to laugh a lot at himself and accept mistakes and always open meeting or conversation saying that, team, this is the problem which we are facing. What do you think? How should we approach it? Rather than coming prepared with a solution, he used to seek advice and guidance from everyone. So that's essential when it comes to creating that trust, building that trust, and really good team culture. By the way, if you are watching this on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, say hi. We have started exploring different practical tips in order to lead successfully agile teams, multiple agile teams. Say hi, mention your location, and ask any questions related to this topic. We'll continue our journey by sharing few practical tips. The next one is understanding the context. So I don't know if you are following cricket, it's okay to pick up the ball. But if you are not following a cricket and you are just playing a soccer or footy, there you are not, unless you are goalkeeper, you are not supposed to touch the ball. So context counts. Context count. If you are going to run a sprint like 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer, probably in that context, running at a fast speed is most important thing compared to running a full marathon, 42 kilometers. There, what is required is stamina, your ability to cover that distance. So you need to, as an agile leader, you need to understand the context in which your teams are operating and then provide them ways through which they can improve, they can evolve their ways of working. So second practical tip is look at current teams context from different dimensions, like team size. How big is this team? A geographical distribution. If you have got team members spread across the world, someone is in Europe, someone in US, someone is in Asia Pacific, then definitely conducting that meeting is going to be a challenge because of time zone differences. Organizational distributions. Is everyone coming from the same part of the organizations, or do we have someone from vendors, suppliers, someone coming as a contractor? Because remember, different team members coming from different background, organizational history will have some baggage, or they might have different understanding of how things gets done. Skill availability. Do you have enough skills available in the marketplace, or are you relying on only one individual whose skills are very, very difficult to be transferred? Compliance. If you are working in a highly regulated environment where the product solution which you are producing is going to impact life of someone, then definitely there will be a lot of regulatory requirements which needs to be applied. You need to be more focused on having all those checks and balances while coming up with a solution, compared to where you are just creating a website which is just displaying products and not going to have a lot of impact on the people's life or livelihood. Solution and domain complexity. These dimensions help you to understand what kind of complexity we are dealing with when it comes to understanding the marketplace, understanding the customer problems, or coming up with a solution which are technology driven. So this is a second practical tip, which is about understanding the context and helping that to set the tone while leading multiple agile teams. I can see there is one question. Waterfall question or statement. Waterfall model mainly deals with the hierarchical size, according to size, complexity, the organic mainly. Okay, so someone has shared their tip about what things influence. Let's continue our journey. So there are, apart from those two practical tips, there are 5 essential skills which anyone need to have to successfully lead agile teams. First one is emotional intelligence. How much confident you are in terms of managing your emotions. Are you self-aware? Can you manage your emotions in a positive way? Do you understand the team dynamic, what your team members are thinking? Conflict management. The main sign of high performing team is where conflicts are taken as an opportunity to grow. If there are no conflicts, then there is something wrong. So you need to be able to comfortably deal with those conflicts and help team to grow through that. Collaboration across multiple teams who might be, coming from different background, might be located at different places. So helping them to work together as a single unit. Agile planning and reporting, as well as agile metrics and governance. So these are the 5 essential skills which are required to lead multiple agile teams successfully. So what we have covered so far is a tip of the iceberg. We have got at Agility Academy program called as Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master. Now, even though in the name it's mentioned as a Scrum Master, essentially the course content, program content is more suitable for any agile leader whose title might be, senior project manager or agile project manager or Scrum Master, agile consultant, technology lead, head of discipline. This program help you to understand how you can create a culture when people are ready to share, how you can create a high performing team by leveraging emotional intelligence, by coordinating work in a such a way that things are done based on the context. And it also gives you practical tools, tips and tricks about running agile planning sessions, using metrics to drive right kind of behaviors. So if you are looking to have some guidance, mentorship by industry experts, then you can scan this QR code You can download brochure as well as watch short video on this particular program. With this program, we have successfully helped a lot of emerging agile leaders to lead multiple teams. So it's a 2-day program followed by mentorship as well as agility community driven a lot of learning opportunities. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to write a comment. Feel free to ask any question to us. You can reach us at team@agilityacademy.com.au, or you can WhatsApp us at +61 451 811 164. Every Tuesday, same time, we do a live session on different agile leadership topics. So you can subscribe to our Agility Academy YouTube channel, follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. Stay tuned. Next session next week, we are going to talk about top tips to become a successful agile coach. I know there's a lot of demand for agile coaches in the industry. We have got Gabor, who is a seasoned agile coach. He is going to share few practical tips on how to become a successful agile coach. If you visit our YouTube channel, you can watch our past events. In last event, we have covered how to get a Scrum Master job with no experience in year 2023. Prior to that, we have covered other topics such as secrets of becoming a successful product owner, product manager, 7 core competencies of business agility, so on and so forth. So thanks again for joining this live session. Thank you, Roger. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Any last remark before we finish our today's session?
It's just really important to take every opportunity you can to learn, and thank you for attending today to take up that opportunity to learn a little bit more. And managing multiple teams becomes easy or easier when those teams are learning to self-organize. And as a team lead, an agile leader, you can instill that within the teams, and everybody with the right training can reach that goal.
Right, training and mentoring and coaching, which plays a crucial role. You need someone who has gone through that, done that, so that you don't make same mistakes, or probably you can fast track your success by leveraging the experience of those experts. Awesome. Thank you, everyone, and see you next week. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.